Today's episode is brought to you by Extra. I've had a lot of first days at school. Every few years, my mom gets a new job. Every town's a little different, but also the same. There's the popular girls, the gamers, the goths, the jocks, a loner, and another loner, the high school sweethearts, the film buffs, and the fancy kids. And don't forget the class clown. You don't need to meet all of them on your first day. In fact, there's only one person you really need. And that's a friend. Sometimes the smallest gestures can be the most refreshing. Give extra, get extra with all new Refreshers gum.
We will engage the World's Fair. We will walk in there fearlessly. We will lift our heads high and not back down for any man, nor woman. We will show them all how we are equal.
Right.
Your time is now. Your time is now. You are the voice of the world. You are the voice of the world. You are the voice of the world.
It had been a long night, but it was to be an even longer day. Old friends and new faces, allies and enemies, families and strangers, all collided in one perfect storm. It was the end of the beginning.
All rise, let's go.
The day we stopped being little girls.
Guys, it's security.
What do we do? We need to hide.
Hurry, they're coming.
I know her name is Jo. Her last name I don't know. When I close my eyes, I'll visualize this little girl named Jo.
What in the... Gosh darn teenagers. No respect for nobody. What's that? Who's there?
All units, report to the fairground now.
10-4. On my way.
What do we do now?
That cheesecake doesn't look half bad.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it.
Joe, we need to leave. If you and Felix get caught, it'll be no big deal, but me and Harold, we could get arrested.
Yeah, she's right about that.
But you still didn't tell us. What's going on?
Look, some guys from my civil rights group are marching on the fair right now, and they're up to no good.
What? Abby, why didn't you tell me?
Why didn't you tell me about Felix and whatever else is going on?
Because...
Look, guys, we don't have time for this right now. For all I know, they're gonna set off a bomb.
A bomb? Come on, we gotta go.
Yeah, you guys get out of here. I need to go stop Andre.
Harold?
I have to.
Guys, we can't wait here any longer. This place is about to go up in flames and we're sitting ducks.
I'm scared. I should have never left home.
Come on, guys, we can do this, all right? I'll go first.
No, I'll go first. Follow me.
I need to call Uncle Bobby.
I knew it. You two are coming with me.
What? But officer.
Let's go, hurry it up before I put you both in cuffs.
Oh no. Harold.
Joe, you're supposed to get out of here.
Yes, I know, but they caught Abby and Felix.
Caught? Ooh.
By security, but what are we gonna do? They're marching into the fair.
Okay, we have to go get them.
I'm with you.
Let's go.
Turn. And here we go.
Hey, stop right there. What do you think you're doing?
Hey, Andre.
We're with them too.
You had a change of heart, brother?
No, I came here to warn my friends.
Warn them about what? We're here in peace.
I see that now.
Stop that. All yous, face down on the ground. I'm gonna count to 5. If you're not all laying down, it's gonna get ugly over here. 5, 4, 3.
Whoa. Hold your horses, officer. This looks to be a peaceful protest. No cause for violence. Look, you got good kids here. You know, one busted head and the whole fair goes kaboom. So do the smart thing. Let them make their statement and let these kind people enjoy the fair. See, look.
They had targeted the fair after all, but not in the way Abby had feared. Instead of violence and destruction, peace and harmony was put on display. It turned out that Andre had called the press to make sure that there would be photos of the protest in newspapers. It would be just one of many sit-ins that rippled across the country that summer.
Who is that guy?
He's a doorman on Park Avenue.
A what?
So listen, I'm sure there's a simple explanation to this whole fiasco. These are good kids. You can ask my buddy, Paul Callahan, over at the 17th Precinct. He'll attest to it, Scout's honor.
Look it, kids. I don't know where you found this guy, but he's keeping you out of trouble today. I don't want to see you around here again.
So can I get a hot dog or what?
Yes, sir. Coming right up.
How'd you know where I was?
Your Uncle Bobby called me.
Why?
Joseph Patrick Atkins. And I'm a guy named Joe, you're a girl named Joe. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you as well.
I'm your grandfather.
You're my grandfather?
Now, look, I know I'm no Mrs. Hollingsworth, but sorry, kid.
Well, if I'm being totally honest, all the rich kids back at home are the Pitts. Except for Cathy.
Who's that?
Cathy Fitzroy, my best friend.
Oh. Well, speaking of which, I'm under strict instructions to use these. The bus leaves in an hour.
Can I have a minute? I don't even know where to start, guys. I know I kept a lot of secrets from you this summer, and I'm awfully sorry. But you really are the strongest, most loyal person I know. And you, I knew you were brave, but you really did find your courage today. And I think I'll miss you most of all.
Just a little something to remember me by.
Good to see you. Welcome home.
Hey, Dad.
This wasn't a simple family reunion.
Long time no see.
There were decades of baggage for the three men to unpack.
Can't just waltz back into our lives after all these years.
Look, Dad, there's gonna be a lot of time to figure everything out, but I've gotta go. Orland's Arcade is opening tonight, and Cathy's gonna be there.
There are people lined up around the block.
What?
Yeah. You just opened up, and it looks like you're gonna do double the business of the diner.
Just VIP for now. Friends and family.
Where's the baby?
At home with Grandpa Pat.
That's right. I can't believe you actually found your grandpa.
And I can't believe I'm trusting him with the baby.
I will say, you're not half bad on the dance floor.
Funny. I thought I had 2 left feet.
So, a whole nother year at school, what a drag.
If I go back to school.
What do you mean?
Well, I went to Millwood yesterday and I was offered a job. Said they needed somebody strong to help them out with something.
You, strong.
Very funny. Ever heard of them?
Doesn't ring a bell. And look who's here.
You came.
Of course I did. I wanted to see you.
I won you something.
I love it.
Can't believe this actually used to be the diner.
Yeah.
What you've done with the place is unbelievable.
Well, thank you, Cathy. Clean up pretty nice yourself. How's your summer?
It was eye-opening. Me and Dwight split up.
Yeah. Me and Alice did too.
Well, hey, maybe now you and Joe can finally give it a go.
Maybe. But you could say that I'm seeing things in a new light now.
Can you guys believe that we didn't see each other the whole summer? Like, you two look like grown-ups.
Little manual labor turns boys to men.
Can you believe that Joe was the only one out of us that knew how to use a hammer?
Yes, and that is what got me working on the Phoenix Fest, which got us into this whole mess.
Right.
Speaking of Phoenix Fest, I actually saw Frank Hurley at the club this summer.
Principal Hurley.
Yeah. It's a really long story, but Joe, he was actually really in love with your mom. It's so much that he stole the crown of Crown Lake just for her.
Oh, the box we found on the wall, right?
This box. It's actually a great place for you to put all your knickknacks.
What the?
Holy moly.
What is this?
He must have had it all along.
Well, we should give it back.
No, Joe. He wanted you to have it. Here. It's yours.
Let me get this straight. Alan gets a brand new arcade. I get a fancy silver crown. But what do you get?
I get the two best friends a girl could ever ask for.
And just like that, the summer was gone. So many years later, I can still remember every detail, every feeling, and every friendship, like it was yesterday. No matter how far we all drifted, I would never forget any of them. Alice Hargrave, my childhood friend, moved away the next year when her father took a job in Cincinnati. Dwight went on to marry Mary. And to this day, they still live in Millwood.
So yes, this is the underground house, and we have lots of visitors every year coming here.
As for Joe's friends in New York, with the new Civil Rights Act, Abby, Harold, and Loretta all got moved to indoor jobs. And just in the nick of time, because that August in New York was a hot one. Luckily, Felix didn't mind working under the sun. Sometimes it even reminded him of the night sky. Junior never ended up coming back to school that year. Instead, he fell in with a rough crowd. They called themselves the Roach Gang. While everyone else was at the arcade, Pat was home alone with the baby. Only, he wasn't entirely alone. Unfortunately, my brother wasn't gone for good. In fact, he plagued our town for many years.
What should we name her?
Randy. Randy Roach. It's got a nice ring to it.
Randy Roach. Whatever you say, Jimmy.
Only he had taken a new name to pursue his life of crime. The next week, Bobby left for New York City. His father was getting older, and after that night, he was never the same. The shock of it was too much for Thomas to take. Later that year, he died of a heart attack and was buried beside Francis. As for Alan Alvarez, he turned the arcade into a booming business. Kids from Attaway, Millwood, even as far as Crown Lake, came to play his games. And eventually, he and I fell in love. We lived in Attaway forever after. With her family and friends split in different directions, my friend Joe Chambers wasn't quite sure what to do. She had always been strong-willed and independent and wary of authority. But in the end, Joe was just Joe. She had had enough of Attaway, and not long after, she took a bus to who knows where. I used to get postcards from her from all over. Oklahoma, San Francisco, even one from France. Eventually, I had to move on from Joe Chambers. I was no longer 14 years old.
How are you feeling, Grandma?
And before I knew it, I had a 14-year-old of my own.
I know it must be hard going through Grandma Cathy's stuff. Anything you want, it's yours.
For my beloved Monica to read when I'm gone. Love, Grandma Cathy.